Welcome and well met, all fellow adventurers, and thank you for joining me today as we take the time to really focus on the remaining patches for Endwalker and their possible release times in the nearby future. At this point, it's already been a couple weeks since 6.2's been out, and the recent update with 6.21 was updated just yesterday. So I was happy to come across this certain site that was able to nicely put together the entire schedule for the future updates that we know of so far, and just tie it into a nice little bundle that's easy to understand. If you want to check out the site yourself, I have the link down in the description below. But let's go ahead and just have a quick look at the upcoming timeline for the patches for the remainder of Endwalker. So before Endwalker came out, the major patches were always released about 3.5 months apart. But because the patches have gotten so big and there's just so much content that it's a little too much for the developers to get it out 6.5 months anymore, so now it's roughly about 4 months before the next release. So here are the confirmed dates for the patches that we've had so far and possible updates for the future. Please keep in mind though that these aren't 100% confirmed yet. A lot of this was mentioned in the February live letter, and I do know the dev team will be doing their best to keep it as close as possible to this schedule. Of course, things can certainly change in the future, the patches might be pushed back a little bit, can't really help it if that happens, but here we have the unconfirmed dates for the major patches for the remainder of Endwalker. So after looking over this whole thing, I have to say that the release dates do seem to fit. I do think that it's very reasonable to assume that the schedule will be as close as possible to this. Of course, 6.1 to 6.21 have already been released, so we don't need to focus on that so much. But it does look like the next update for 6.25 will be coming out either mid to late October, which will be including the new variant dungeons, the Manderville weapons, as well as the new update for Hildebrand's World of Insanity and the Omnicron tribal quests. So that will definitely keep us all busy for a little while. So if it does come out for October, it does seem to line up with that halfway mark between 6.2 to 6.3. As for 6.3 itself, it looks like the best time that it will be released will be around December of this year, so that will be a nice Christmas present for some players. Which means that 6.35, I'm guessing somewhere within late February before the next big release of 6.4 around April. One thing I am excited about, and I do hope they keep it like this, is that so far there's no mention of a Part 1 and Part 2 of 6.5. Usually in the X.5 series there are 2 parts, roughly 3 months apart from each other before moving on to the next expansion. Now, normally with these expansions, they go through the main scenario and then it just plays up to the X.3 patches where it kind of wraps up the entire story there. And then the remaining patches just set up the story for the next expansion. The difference with Endwalker, though, is that the official story, the saga of Hydaelyn, Zodiark, and the Ascians, that all kind of ended with 6.0. So the patches that we've had so far from 6.1 and onwards are just setting up the brand new story for 7.0 and onwards. So there is a chance that they might end up changing things around for just at least this particular expansion. So we may not have to worry about a Part 1 or Part 2 for Endwalker. But like I said, this is subject to change though, so don't take that as written in stone just yet. So the estimated date of 6.5 will be 1 year from now, possibly near the end of August of 2023. Which means if there isn't a Part 2 for 6.5, the new possible expansion date of 7.0 may be released around December 2023 to January 2024. Again, that's assuming that there isn't a Part 1 or Part 2, and if everything runs just perfectly, the dev team don't bite off more than they can chew, and hopefully there won't be any big delays or problems that it's going to take a while for them to fix, but let's not be too harsh with them. I know it's a lot of work. Final Fantasy XIV has gotten so big and trying to keep up with all the new content is a really big job, so let's just be patient and see what comes from that. And if you're one of those people who has played through most, if not all, the content as of right now, there will still be events in between those months that we can still look forward to as well. Here is a list of all the seasonal and special events that we can be looking forward to. Most of these events have already passed, with the Rising having just ended, but it does look like we will be getting another Moogle Treasure Trove event planned sometime this November. I did notice that they forgot to add the All Saints wig from this list. I don't know why that is. I do know that sometimes if it becomes too busy, they tend to neglect All Saints wig and they even just skip the event altogether. I really hope they don't do that. But in case it was just forgotten on the list, it should be coming out sometime late October or early November this year. Otherwise, we can be looking forward to the Starlight Celebration coming this December, and Heavenstern should be set up for the first week of January of 2023. So yeah, there's still a lot planned for us in the next couple years with all the seasonal events, the new patches and updates, and I think once we reach 6.3, we'll officially be the halfway through the expansion and really start looking forward to 7.0, which will be leading up to a brand new saga with a new story, new lands, and so much more. As of right now, we still don't have a clear idea where we're going to be going to. The dev team is keeping pretty quiet on that. The most popular theory right now is that we're going to be heading off to Mericidia next, which I have to agree. There are a lot of clues right now that seem to be pointing in that direction, but we still have a lot of other places such as the New World, the rest of Ishabard, maybe even another shard or the Void itself. Yeah, as of right now, it's still kind of up in the air where we're going to go. It hasn't come right out and say that. I don't think that we really will be getting a clear idea, at least until 6.5. 6.4 might be the earliest, but even then I highly doubt that we'll be getting any clear answers to where we're going. Anyway, that's going to be it for right now. Hopefully the schedule will be enough to keep us all interested as we wait for more content. And yeah, I guess that's it for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the game sometime. So until next time, take care.